we'll dig into your topic, which what did we call your?
The journey of 1,000 miles starts
Yeah,
with one single step.
That's it. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. So tell us about yourself, please.
Yeah, sure. So, first of all, great to be here and see so many beautiful faces. So, my background is health science, and I've also been a Pilates instructor for over 25 years now, and I've been a trainer and coach for over 20 years. I've taught the personal training course. I have been a competitive bodybuilder for the last 16 years, and I now have my IFBB Pro card. So I'm a comp prep coach as well. I now work online thanks to COVID, where we were kicked out of the gyms, but I now work online, and I'm so grateful for it because I wouldn't have been able to be open to opportunities like this to meet so many more beautiful people. So, in a nutshell, that's kind of my background. I love everything health and fitness and living healthy. And that's pretty much me in a nutshell. But I kind of wanted to just jump in, but I wanted to share something with you guys first of all. A few weeks ago, I was at a conference that included some amazing high profile business speakers like there are today. But the star of the day was David Goggins. So who here knows who David Goggins is? Put a 1 in the chat. I'd love to hear who knows David Goggins. Throw 1 in the chat. And if you don't know him, that is cool. He's a highly motivational speaker. He's a Navy SEAL, and he's just an incredible human being. But if you know him, you know that he doesn't mess around, and there's no beating around the bush. He has a way of saying things how it is, which is kind of a philosophy that I live by as well. And he has such a refreshing outlook on life and life's obstacles that brings such clarity. And there's one thing in particular that he said that I really want to share with all of you today because it really stuck with me. When you're in that moment of procrastination, hesitation, you've got this self-doubt, and you're waiting for the right moment to start something or to do something. Just remember, no one is coming. It's just you. Those simple words are honestly so powerful, and they cut through right to the core. And I think that's why it's kind of stuck with me all this time. A few weeks on, and I'm still kind of talking about it. And I know that everyone has been there at some point, right? Everyone has found themselves procrastinating over something at some point. So today I wanted to share some attitudes and mindset components with you to help bring some clarity for you, like David Goggins did for me a few weeks back, to help you take action on your goals, on your journey, and jump 2 feet in on becoming the best version you can be. So who here has found themselves hesitating or procrastinating, telling yourself a story in your head of why you can't start your health and fitness journey right now? Put a 1 in the chat if that's you right now, but maybe it's not you right now. Put a 2 in the chat if it's been you in the past at some point. Every single one of us can relate to this at some point in time. Maybe it's not been to do with a health and fitness journey. Maybe it's been to do with a business venture or something else in your life. But there's been a point in time where we all have been in that situation, and we're telling ourselves these stories in our heads. So we're all familiar with it. What about the stories in your head that you're telling yourself? Now's not the right time. When I finish this certain project, that's when I'll start. I'm too busy. I don't have time. I can't afford a gym membership or a trainer. I'm too old. This is as good as it gets. I've got an injury. It's too hot. It's too cold. I've tried everything and nothing works for me. I've got young children. I've got young grandchildren. I'm just not motivated right now. All of these things is like blah, 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 blah. I've heard it all before. Yvonne, I'm sure you've heard it all before. I know every health coach on the planet has heard it all before, but you know what? I've had these stories in my head too. Everyone has at some point. But where do all of these things point to? They point to the two most common reasons that we procrastinate. Number one, fear of failure. Number two, and this is a big one as well, fear of being judged. And I think for most people, or not for most, but for a lot of people, that one holds more weight than fear of failure. But the time you waste procrastinating and worrying about if you'll fail, or worrying about what people are going to think when you go on this journey and make those changes, you could be making progress on your goals. We waste way too much time and way too much of our life just worrying about things that haven't even happened yet, right? But I want you to think about this. There are consequences for every decision and action we do or do not take. So I'll give you an example. If you make the decision not to make a decision and stay exactly where you are right now, nothing changes. Where will you be in 6 months from now? What does that look like for you? I want you to really visualize this. And how do you feel in that moment? 6 months from now. At the very best, you'll be exactly where you are at this point. At the worst, you'll have developed some health complications. You will have put more weight on and feeling less energy. Let's compare it. If you make a decision right now to get out of your comfort zone, take the plunge, jump straight in, 2 feet in, and start 1 step at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 workout at a time. Where do you think you'll be in 6 months from now? What does that look like for you? And how do you feel then? You and you alone, you're the product of yourself. So who do you want to be? And how badly do you want it? We all get one life, just one life. Don't waste any opportunity. And I know what you're thinking. You might be thinking, oh, well, it's all very well for her to say. Look at her, she's a professional athlete. She's probably never struggled being in shape her whole life. Right. Let me tell you a little story, just a little bit of a background into my story. Everyone has a story, by the way. Every single person has their own story of how they became what and who they are today. When my son was born in 2006, I was 36 years old. And yes, you can do the math on that. That makes me 51. I'm 5'2". I'm little, right? And I was weighing 72 kilos, which is about 160 pounds. For me, this was the biggest I'd ever been, as I normally sat around 52 kilos. So I was 20 kilos overweight. I was uncomfortable. None of my clothes fitted me. I hated going out socializing. And I just did not like what I saw in the mirror. Before falling pregnant, I had aspirations of competing in a bodybuilding comp. And then I fell pregnant. So I thought, well, I'll just put that off for 12 months. And so I did. But when my son was 12 weeks old, we went to the beach. We had a beautiful day, but someone took a photograph of me standing in the shallows in the water with my bikini on, holding a can of beer. That was my life back then. When I saw this picture, it really just struck a chord with me. And I was horrified. I was ashamed. And it's not like I was saying, how did this happen? Miraculously, all this weight came, onto my body. I knew exactly how it happened. Alcohol, too much takeaway food, not eating the right foods, not eating at the right time, and not enough exercise. So it was there and then that I really just drew a line in the sand, and I just said, that's it, no more. This is not what I want my life to be. I no longer want to be the person who talks about what they're going to do, but never actually does it because it's too hard, it's too scary. And I'm not going to worry what people are thinking. I'm actually just going to jump in 2 feet. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take serious action. So my journey began to the stage. I had 20 kilos to lose, which in itself seemed so daunting and overwhelming. And it wasn't easy. I'll tell you that. It was not easy, especially with a baby. I was running my own business. I had a Pilates studio at the time. It was not easy. There were times when, in order to fit in my cardio for the day, I would get up super early before my son woke, and I would do my sprints out the front of the house. I'd do a sprint, I'd come back to the house, I'd listen in at his window to see if he was awake. No, he's still sleeping. Right, another sprint, come back. No, still sleeping. Another sprint until he woke. So it was definitely challenging. And we all have challenges. But I continued one step at a time on that journey to fulfill my dreams of getting on stage. So by the time my son was 8 months old, I did my first competition and I was hooked. I loved it. So I've competed ever since, 16 years, now IFBB Pro, age 51. It's never too late. But if I hadn't have taken that first step and said to myself, that's it, I want to create a healthy life. I want to change. But more importantly, if I hadn't have kept working at it and kept going one step at a time, one step further each time, I wouldn't be where I am today. If I'd listened to all those people around me saying, why are you doing this? You're a mum now. I would have stopped and I wouldn't have fulfilled my dream of becoming an IFBB Pro. You're listening to those who don't believe in you and don't believe in your dreams. Stay your course. It's your dream, and don't let anyone take that away from you. So it's actually not necessarily the most important thing to achieve your goal, because our goals change along the way. It's more important of who you are and who you become what you learn along that journey. All those life lessons that you learn along that journey to reach your goals is actually way more important than actually achieving the goal itself. Yay, I got a plastic trophy, awesome. But, look at the things that you've learnt along the way. The things I've learnt, not just about nutrition and training and all of those things, but what I've learnt about myself, more importantly, how strong I can be when I put my mind set to something. And when I am willing to take action on something that is so unfamiliar and learn new things. So you must believe in you and your dreams. Don't just hope for something to happen. Make it happen. Take control. It's your life. It's up to you. Don't hesitate one more day. So I hope you're feeling a little tingle of inspiration by now.
Thanks, Carly.
I wanted to share a couple of practical points that can help you to jump straight in, 2 feet in. This is where if you've got a notebook, notepad, and you want to take some notes, by all means, get that out, take some notes. Are you ready? Let's go. Number 1, your goals. Write your goals down and why you want to achieve it. It's more than just about losing weight and looking good. It's about gaining energy, feeling amazing in your own skin, gaining your confidence back, more energy to run around with the kids or the grandkids, living a healthy life, avoiding illness. As we get older, it's going to creep in. If you're living a healthy life now, that's going to keep that at bay. Set realistic goals. We've all heard of the SMART goals. You can Google it. Be specific. Make sure they're measurable. Make sure they're attainable, realistic, and timely. But write down your ultimate goal, your long-term goal. And then set small targets. Small target goals along the way that you can set in a few weeks, every couple of weeks. Number 2, get rid of the excuses, the stories you're telling in your head. Get rid of them. Number 3, create a healthy diet plan. Focus on eating a balanced diet rich in lean proteins, fresh fruit, lots of variety in vegetables, and some good healthy carbs, good fats. Everything that Katie actually spoke about just before.
Fantastic.
Avoid all the processed sugary foods. We don't need them in our life. Number 4, track your progress. Use an app or a journal. Take your measurements. Jump on the scales, although I'm not a huge fan of using the scales alone to track your progress. Measurements are much more powerful, but even more photos. And I know it's really daunting and kind of scary and yucky to take your photos in that moment where you're just starting, but taking your photos every 4 to 6 weeks is empowering, because quite often you won't see the scales move, and perhaps you'll see some measurements move and you think, oh, nothing's really changed. And then you take your photos and put them side by side and it's wow. So I encourage you to do that. Number 5, exercise. And I know, Yvonne, you're going to speak into this later on. Can't wait to listen to what you have to say. I cannot stress how important exercise is. The human body is designed for activity. So get yourself a structured program that is designed just for you and your goals. Start small. Yeah, don't put something in place that's unachievable to begin with. Start small and progress from there. Be prepared. Number 6, be prepared. I'm just reading off my notes now because I don't want to miss one of these points. Be prepared. Schedule your workouts in your calendar. Plan your meals each day ahead of time. Preparation is key. And the last point, stay positive. Remember that you're on this journey for the long haul. It's not going to happen overnight. We're not in this for a quick fix. We want to change habits for life, to live that healthy lifestyle. So don't get discouraged along the way if things aren't moving to a timely point that you think they should be. As long as you're moving forward, that is the most important thing. Give yourself a little pat on the back for all the small victories along the way as well. And the last point, do not ever, ever quit. Doesn't matter how many times you stop and have to restart, never ever quit, because you're only quitting on yourself. That journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step, then another, and then another. Does that make sense, guys? I hope that really, really helps.
Some great, those, if they didn't write that down, they were so good. Because, yes. And I'm going to pop your freebie here. So can you share a little bit about what that is so people can, the ladies can stay in touch with you?
Absolutely. Thanks, Yvonne. I am so excited to offer this. I was kind of racking my brain about what is going to be really valuable for these beautiful ladies who have taken the time to jump on and listen to all these expert speakers. I want to give them so much value and so many tools. So my freebie is access into a 21-day detox for health. This is not a quick fix. This is not your normal detox. This is setting the foundations, exactly what Katie was talking about before, setting the foundations for gut health. This is setting the foundations for healthy habits. You're going to get workout plans, home workouts and gym workouts. You're going to get nutrition guides. You're going to get coaching in that 21 days. So I'm really, really excited to be offering this to all these gorgeous ladies on here today.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Any questions, anybody? We've kind of gone a little quiet in the room today this afternoon. We're just starting our day, but over, North America, they're, ending their day. Yay. Awesome, Shelly. So many great freebies today. So make sure you're jumping in and grabbing as many as you can. We're all here to serve you. It's our mission. Every single one of these coaches, we do what we do because we love what we do and we want to help you. So, Carla,